What actually happened is on Tuesday, I got a phone call from the police. So that's when they told me about it. And then I said, okay. They asked me to come and see them. I went to the police station, and then they explained to me that this is what was going to happen. These guys were going to invade my farm. They were unhappy with my stand of going to court against the renewal or the extension of Malaba's term of office.
So now, what did you do? When they just came by your place there.
I went around and went to see them. I spoke to them. They were obviously very drunk. And the first thing I then did was to ask them what was happening. And then they told me that they were been sent from Harare to do that. Uh, I said, why? And they told me that I was anti-government. I said, well, how do you say I'm anti-government? I only did this thing for the rule of law and to uphold our constitution.
And what is happening right now?
I don't know. I'm not at the farm. I'm in Bulawayo, so I really don't know. I had to come down to Bulawayo because there's a funeral. My brother-in-law lost his wife.
Yeah. So from now onwards, what are you going to do? Since these people may come back, or maybe they're still there, what's going to happen?
Basically, what I did is I contacted the government officials. I contacted the Minister of Lands. I contacted the Security Department, and told them about it. And they said I was very unhappy about it. My biggest concern is that when they start doing this, and those youths are drunk, they just want to hate me and to hate my family. Uh, I'm more concerned about my family than myself. They even use sexual assault against women within my family. They've done it before. So when I told these guys, it was really to try and make sure that my family is protected.
So now, who actually sent them to your farm?
They won't say who, but
Who,
it's from the ruling party.
who do
It's
you
from
think?
Zanu
Who
PF.
do you think did that?
To be honest with you, I don't want to mention names, but obviously it's the powers that be. The president should know about it because he gave those guys those motorcycles, and who gave them the money to be running around and drinking, buying beer.
So the
So
motorcycles, yes, yes, go ahead.
rather than me worrying who in particular did it, well, we have a president. The man who runs the country should be aware of it.
So, do you have any contacts with the president? Do you sometimes talk to him about some of these things, or the top ZANU-PF officials?
I did meet with the president. The ball of contention here, to be honest with you, is about Zipra and Zipra properties. And what happened is when I first spoke to government about it, they became angry. I wrote a letter to then President Mugabe and then Prime Minister Tsvangirai. This is how the whole thing started, and they just reacted badly and started attacking me as a person. But at the end of the day, we have to do the right thing.
What
I
led?
met with the
Yes,
president.
yes.
I met with the president in 2019 specifically to decide for him to give us back the Zipra properties. He agreed. He said he was going to remove the caveats, but a few months later, he didn't want to return my messages. I even wrote to him. He doesn't respond. He responded once in August 2019. Thereafter, it stopped.
And you are talking
So
about the
I don't know
late.
what he's angry about.
The, you are talking about the current president.
Yes, I'm talking about the current president.
Uh-huh. So now you are a former Zipra combatant, and all this is happening around you. What do you think about that?
There's nothing much I think about. All I want is to see the rule of law taking place. Constitutionally, they cannot go and take my farm. The Constitution is very clear. You cannot take a farm owned by an indigenous person. And even if they try to use it as a weapon against me, it doesn't work. If they want to farm, they should buy it, pay me, and then I can give it to them. They can't just confiscate my farm like what they did on the other properties.
So now looking at what might actually happen to you, do you have any security around you? Do you fear for your life? Tell us a bit about that.
To be honest with you, it doesn't worry me. I'm as good as dead. Having been a combatant, I was very fortunate that I came back home. Uh, that's what we call, that's why we were freedom fighters. And what is happening is actually against what we fought for. We fought to give our people freedom. And when we do this to ourselves, what does it mean for the ordinary man? So, how do I become scared of my life when the ordinary man can be treated just like a chicken? So if they do that to me, it's okay. But they are answerable. That's crimes against humanity. Why should we allow our government to continue doing that?
And you are one of the people who actually filed that urgent court application, opposing the extension of the term of office of Chief Justice Luke Malaba. What really prompted you to do that?
It's not about Malaba. It's about the rule of law. It's about constitutionalism. We have a constitution. Unfortunately, my colleagues in government, people we fought together during the liberation struggle, think that our constitution is just a piece of paper and they can do what they want. And for me, going to court was basically reminding my colleagues that we ought to do the right thing. It's not just about political power, it's about the supreme law of Zimbabwe, our constitution. It's about the rule of law. And they cannot just do what they want. We have to follow that constitution. That's all what it was.
So now there are indications that the Chief Justice is back at work and all those kind of things. What's your comment on that?
The Chief Justice is a lawyer. He's the most learned person in our country. First of all, there are two things about this. The Chief Justice did not file an opposition. The Judicial Services Commission filed it for him. And as far as I look at things, he is no longer the Chief Justice. He has appealed as the Chief Justice of Zimbabwe. He cannot do that. He cannot remain in that office. He is in contempt of court. But you know what? It's very, very unfortunate because he's a learned man. He's the former Chief Justice of our country. For him to be in contempt of court is regrettable. And this is just adding more confusion and constitutional crisis for a man in his office to do such a thing.
So
His
what?
appeal is
Yes.
a nullity. Sorry,
So
I was
yeah,
saying his appeal. Sorry, go ahead.
yes. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I was saying his purported appeal is a nullity because, in the first place, he got a default judgment after he didn't oppose our application. The only people who can appeal is the Judicial Services Commission and the Attorney General of Zimbabwe, not himself.
So what is next? Because we're told, or maybe there's an argument from the state that the moment you file an appeal, it sets aside the ruling that was actually made by the High Court. So what's going to happen there?
An appeal against an order, not an appeal against a declarator. There was a declaration made by the court. The arguments they are trying to raise, they are not valid. They are the lawyers, they are the learned people, and they know what it means. They have to follow the law. Before anything happened, before the hearing, there was a meeting, a case management meeting. They were invited and they agreed to certain ways of doing things. But they turn around and start accusing the judges. They accuse me of colluding with the judges and the judge president. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. It just shows the incompetence of people in our government. So all I can say is that they have to study law. The Minister of Justice himself, he behaved very badly. Now is the Chief Justice himself. It's not right.
So what are you going to do?
Not the chief.
What are you going to do?
There's nothing we can do. What we can only hope for is that they uphold the rule of law, they respect our constitution. That's it. If they don't want to do that, they are just asking us to file more papers against them.
Yes. So
And
just
unfortunately,
yes, continue. Just finish there.
and unfortunately, that's the only remedy we have. We have to go to court, and they cannot manipulate the courts so that they have judges who rule for them. Any learned person who reads a constitution, who read law, they will understand that what is happening is unlawful, it's illegal.